Greetings! Due to how well the last map review was received, here is the next installment. But this time, I'm going to review a map pack. Specifically, the number 265 map pack. So, without wasting any more of your precious time that you would spend on clicking circles, let's jump into it. First is a low BPM K-drama song or whatever. These are the only proper duplets in the map, so if you are sight reading, keep that in mind. They are also pretty random, since there is nothing on the blue lines that would justify the doublets. You won't see screen pentagon patterns in current yet, that's for sure. The last Ki starts with spaced triplets, and the sliders are a bit faster than before. All the Ki parts start with the same patterns, but the last Ki time is more intense. It also has some interesting rhythm that can drop your accuracy if you are not careful. While it doesn't contain many sharp jumps, aim is definitely the hardest aspect of this map. The obtuse jump patterns can make players not familiar with older maps confused. Most of the 1/4 quintuplets are not exactly on 1/4 sounds, so you will have to rely on your reading, especially if you know the song. This one is a crime against any player who plays with less effect and more music volume. Special mention for the hard difficulty, because it is IR6 OD6, making it nearly IR10 OD10 with hard rock double time. So how would you call someone who farms IR6 OD6 with hard rock double time? DD farmers or hard rock farmers? Let's leave K-pop and move to K-on! Oh man, this anime is so nostalgic. The difficulty icons indicate that these were different times. If you are into zigzag patterns and budget alternating maps, the hard difficulty is worth a try with double time. The Insane has no 1/4 patterns either, but the patterns are less obtuse. At 31 seconds, try to hit the sliders slightly early, since it's easy to break on the consecutive repeat sliders. There are some back and forth mini jumps as well. You expected half-beat notes here because of the last pattern? Tough luck. This difficulty looks more modern than the hard, since it doesn't really care about symmetry. But you can still notice by the lack of jumps that this is not something straight out of 2017. The extra finally features a few short streams, so if you want to double time it, get ready for the 270 BPM meshing. Aiming the streams is not much of a problem, so you can dedicate more of your attention to bursting. This difficulty is pretty symmetric, so if you are a flashlight player, you might wanna give it a try. The sliders are slightly faster too, so take that into consideration. Next up is a 2 minutes long Hanatan song. Sairo's Insane is significantly easier than the Insane, so while it's 176 BPM, double timing it shouldn't be a problem to anyone who has the speed. Even the occasional triplets and bursts are in a stack, making it much easier to hit them. The map ages surprisingly well in my opinion. The obtuse angled patterns are well placed and nicely balanced with the sharp angled jumps. The harder Insane is much more difficult to double time, as you can see on the leaderboards, although I think it has to do more with people forgetting about the map, rather than it's being too hard. Some of the patterns are not like typical 2012 mapping at all, while others are straight up Owendan styled. Even the difficulty spike right before the Ki time is spot on, though it's a bit different. There are some intense obtuse jumps during the Ki, so be prepared for that. Next is a Touhou remix from the guy who made Freedom Dive. It has to be good, right? The past was funny. I have no idea why the heart has more star rating, but my hunch is this section. Let's see. Oh, nope, it still has more star rating. Oh well. The Insane is pretty nice if you want to practice your burst skills without having to worry much about irrelevant things like, I don't know, jumps. The extra is where the fun starts though. If you are one of those players who can't stand even IR9, then you better take out your microscope because Hard Rock makes it CS 6.5. Unless of course you are these guys who can just double time it. The hardest part of this difficulty is accuracy without a doubt. It is a solid stream map with minimal jumps. Players those aren't used to obtuse angles can find the beginning and the calm part here quite difficult. I can already see in my mind how some players will just double tap these half-beat doublets. Next is a TV-sized instrumental Touhou remix. Oh god. The Lunatic Lolly difficulty doesn't have many 1/4 patterns, and since it is 175 BPM, you can either use it as a single tap practice for your speed with double time, or your accuracy with hard rock. It is pretty challenging with hidden as well, since it is IR8 OD8 and has some interesting patterns like this single tap spiral, these objects with unorthodox rhythm, although the main sound is on the slider end, so pay attention to that, and these mini star patterns. I think the name of the top difficulty tells you everything about this set. What's my deep wish? The Lunatic is IR8 with only 128 BPM, so it is uncharacteristically high approach rate for an old map. Even the overall difficulty is pretty high. The map focuses on the vocals, if there are any. And as a result, there are quite a few doublet patterns. You will see tons of this kind of thing in the map. There are some bigger sharp jumps, but they are slower than half beat. The most challenging jump pattern in the map is probably this one. The hardest aspect of this map has to be accuracy. The normal drain time is 2 minutes 46 seconds, and since most of you will probably double time it, the 2 breaks might seem more than necessary. Next is an instrumental Steins Gate BGM. While the main difficulty comes from the streams and the relatively high overall difficulty, these uncomfortable triplet patterns can cause a ton of shit misses. You have got to have a pretty good accuracy for this part before the Kiai. Else, the sliders will not-lock you. You might be better off with just cheesing this part by streaming, if you don't have the reading and accuracy. While it's an old map, it has quite big triangle jumps. The map isn't afraid to expose you to rhythmically challenging patterns either. Put this map in a tournament's double time pool with Score V2, and I guarantee nobody would assess it. Once you get through all these hard sections, the end can still make you regret lowering your guard with overlaps like this. And this. Oh, and if you thought the hard difficulty wouldn't be a challenge, think again. Next is a TV-sized anime opening. Oh, nice beatmap link number. The map is fairly easy with no 1/4 patterns. The spacing between notes indicate the time between them, so while this half-beat difference is represented with that much of space, the next one is a 3/4, I guess? Well, it is represented with a bigger distance between the notes. This kind of intuitive design should be used more on maps that aren't just the cookie-cutter metronome stuff, instead of simplifying the rhythm, or just slapping some sliders on them because else it wouldn't be readable. Whoops, I started ranting, moving on. Coming up next is a TV-sized Madoka remix. Don't let the low star rating fool you on the another difficulty. The main difficulty is the accuracy on this map, so much so that even the best accuracy players couldn't assess it with Hard Rock hidden. The sliders that go into streams, the 1/6 patterns and the doublet patterns make this map a pretty hard accuracy challenge. The Hyper has some parts where it is pretty difficult with double time due to the density and how close the notes are, but otherwise it is just a harder hard difficulty, I guess. So the other day I went to a kebab shop to eat some kebab. I hate yogurt sauce, so I asked without it. No yogurt! But I knew from experience that you cannot trust these kebab people with your kebab. Halfway through preparing, he reached into the yogurt sauce, and I used my high approach rate OC expertise to say, no yogurt. The kebab guy said sorry with a smug face, then carried on with the preparation of my delicious non-yogurt sauced kebab. As he was finishing, I was letting my guard down when he suddenly reached into the yogurt sauce again, and in a fraction of a second I had to yell, no yogurt, please! Eventually I got my yogurtless kebab, but even so there was only one slice of tomato in it. Only one measly tomato slice. How am I supposed to enjoy all the flavors in the kebab with only one tiny tomato slice? I rate this kebab 3 out of 10. I would prefer eating somewhere else if possible, but if there is nothing else and I'm starving, I would consider getting another one of these. Oh well. Back to the mapping review. Next is a visual novel opening. It is only 186 BPM, even with double time. But this stream section may cause some trouble if you don't have a little bit of stamina. Otherwise, the map is pretty basic with the exception of this pattern, and this one. Next is another TV-sized anime song. The Insane feels surprisingly modern, although the relatively low approach rate tells us that this map isn't new. The jumps are mostly sharp-angled and might test your single tap speed. There are some bursts here and there, but they are fairly easy to aim compared to the jumps. Next up is a low BPM Touhou cover. The hard doesn't feel like a hard difficulty, but more like an easy insane. The only thing that could catch you off guard are these doublet patterns. The map feels very nice to play, and I think a lot of thought went into making it. Next is a TV-sized SAO opening. On Ignor's Insane, the sliders are a bit faster than on the other Insane. While it has lower star rating, the CS5 and OD8 makes it harder in some ways than the DOP difficulty. There aren't many sharp jumps in it, but some of the obtuse angled jumps can be downright nasty. The Insane is irate with quite a few short bursts, so it is perfect for players who can burst fast but cannot read high approach rate comfortably. It is also suitable for players who would like to polish their irate hidden skills, although be careful at the end on this pattern. Wow, a 1.79 star hard difficulty. I wonder if it's hard in some unconventional ways. Oh wait, it's 3.32 stars. Riot, please fix. Oh, I was looking at the catch the beat. Oh, never mind. This map is pretty basic, but some of the obtuse patterns can be pain if you are not used to them. There are a few short, sharp angled jumps and bursts too. There are a few short, sharp angled patterns and bursts too. Since you don't have to break your momentum much and the BPM is relatively low, I think it's a decent map for players that are getting into R11. Or Flashlight, I guess. It's so easy, I want hard then in Zun. Oh, just stop, please. Please, I can't take it. This is too much. Oh god. Next is a TV-sized railgun opening. The beginning is rhythmically challenging, although unless you are playing Squad V2, the sliders help a lot. The map is full of 1/4 doublets. Be careful going into the slider jumps around the middle of the map, since it is very easy to misread them. Took me like 4 retries to realize they are 1/4. Next is some low BPM hipster music. If you enjoy 60 BPM spaced streams, this map is for you. The last KI has a bit of a difficulty spike though. Next is a visual novel short version opening. The first quarter of the map is rhythmically pretty challenging. Well, if you play Squad V2. But duplets are present all the way. While the map lacks conventional jumps, you constantly have to maintain a certain cursor speed. The bursts seem to be a bit faster than the sliders, so watch out for that. I think everybody knows this song. The map itself is pretty relaxing, although if you are the type that can't stand relaxing maps, you can just add double time and harder to make it slightly more challenging. Next is another relaxing map, but this time it's Chinese. Speaking of Chinese, I gotta go eat some Chinese food, be right back. Okay, we are back with a short Utaite cover. These star-like patterns would put most modern farm maps to shame. The main highlight of this map has to be the long bursts, especially if you decide to play it with double time. Be prepared to drop some slide runs here, since the window between the jumps and the sliders are pretty short, and on top of that the sliders use variable speeds. I wonder how many people broke their full combos on this surprise jump stream. Although this map is pretty farmy even with modern standards, there are still quite a few obtuse patterns that remind you that this map is from 2012. So that's about it. Since making these things take way too much time, it will take a while until I release another one. Unless, of course, somebody really wants me to make one as quickly as possible. Anyway, the video is over, so thank you for watching and see you next time.